To the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 95. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and today we're flying solo. You can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a sub over there. We'd love to have you in on the conversation. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. You can go over to YouTube and SoundCloud, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. So yeah, we're recording today. We're flying solo, and actually we're recording a little bit late. Release wise, it'll come out the same, so you guys won't really be affected. But we're not live, we're recording late. Reason for that, I knew I had the episode coming up being solo. I knew that was the case, except for Artemis popping in, of course. I had no idea what to talk about. So I decided to postpone it a little bit. I knew I had some things that I was going to be watching over the weekend. So right now, I am recording. It is late Monday night. So, like I said, didn't have anything to talk about leading up to that Saturday, so I decided to postpone and did some stuff over the weekend that I do want to talk about with you guys and go over. So, first things first, the topic one, Space Jam New Legacy just came out with LeBron James. So I kind of want to talk about my thoughts, mini review style of the film. So we're going to go full spoilers, not covering the whole film, obviously, but if you guys haven't seen it yet or you're interested in seeing it and don't want to be spoiled, skip this, come back to it, whatever it is. But we'll get into it. So yeah, New Legacy dropped this past Thursday, Friday, however you want to think about it. Thoughts overall on the movie. It was okay. I think if you want to watch it, fine. I don't think this is a movie I'll ever go back and watch again type thing. Like, it was okay. Now, a big reason that I kind of struggle with definitively what I want to say, my thoughts and opinions or review, whatever the hell you want to think about it, opinion is on this movie is because I kind of put it into two parts. I know 3-act structure, yada yada. I kind of put it into two parts of like my ultimate fun having of this movie, enjoyment of this movie, like, oh, this was cool. There's that part, and then there's the not disgust. That sounds like a little bit of a over exaggeration, but like, ooh, just dread and disappointment for this movie and it being made. That first act, that first third, however you want to think about this, where, you know, obviously they're given the groundwork of like what's going on with LeBron and his family, like why are the events of this movie going to take place, that whole setup. Not that the story itself is bad. It's hard to put a finger on it specifically, but like, I don't know if it was a combination of the acting or like the pacing of it or the reasoning behind the villain being essentially a computer program, the algorithm. Like, just all these elements just were, just put a bad feeling in my stomach, and I was really dreading moving through this movie, just like, why did we hold this movie back up? Why did we have to do a remake, reboot, sequel, whatever this actually is? You know, granted, Space Jam 1, you know, you're not going to say, oh, it was the best acting or it was the best movie ever, but like, obviously a lot of people, myself included, hold that movie near and dear to our hearts, or at least find some enjoyment out of it, and like can put those things to the side. I don't know, just this one, like, ooh. And, you know, there's the argument, like, oh, it's not made for you, it's made for kids. Fine, that's totally fine. You know, everybody can find enjoyment out of things differently, you know. I'm not going to sit here and criticize people like, oh, I really like this movie, well, fuck you. No, I'm not going to do that. Of course, if you like the movie, good for you. I'm just giving my 2 cents of what I thought about it. So, yeah, it was rough for that first act. So basically, this algorithm for Warner Studios wants to do pretty much get credit for what they've created by using LeBron's social media presence and following to let people know that he's done this stuff. So he's going to work with LeBron, put him in a bunch of movies, and they're like going to shell out all these different movies with LeBron starring, like Harry Potter and Game of Thrones and all these things. And I'm like, what? So that was how it was portrayed. But then LeBron says no, and then the algorithm gets all mad, so he like captures him in the program in the computer. So weirdness there, first off. Then we get the animosity between LeBron and his son, which is a pretty big factor into the story as well. Trailers didn't really lead up to that. It was kind of like trailers were saying, oh, we got captured, we got to go save our son. If that was the case, I think that would have been better overall. Now, granted, was that LeBron's like motivation the whole time? Yes. But as we'll get to later, it's kind of weird the route they decided to go, I think. So there's some disdain between, LeBron and his kid. LeBron's kind of a dick in the first act of this movie. Obviously, he's a big ball player. Obviously, he's one of the best, ever. He's like teaching his kids play basketball. Fine, that's cool. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. Turns out the youngest son, that's not what he wants to do. He wants to develop video games. Cool. He's got a basketball camp coming up, but turns out he wants to do an E3 game development camp the same week. LeBron's like, oh, if you want something, you got to chase after it, blah, 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 but it has to be basketball. Like, he's just really pushing the basketball thing on his kids. And it kind of, doesn't put LeBron in a good light at all. Maybe that was part of the, ugh, this feels gross kind of thing. And once again, I get it for the story we're trying to tell, character development, all that stuff. Fine. But, whew, rough. Video games are the root of all of our problems, apparently. LeBron couldn't play games back when he was a kid. That's how he became the basketball star. And now he's stopping his kid from at least focusing on the games and not basketball kind of thing. Whatever. So the son's been developing his own game. Shares it with his dad later. We see glimpses of it. This will be important too. So anyways, like I said, we go through the whole meeting with the algorithm and the company trying to recruit LeBron. He says no. They end up going into the computer system because of a little altercation and argument between the son and LeBron. They get taken in to Don Cheadle's area in the computer of Algorithm. That's his character's name. And LeBron gets sent to Toon World to recruit a basketball team to save his son. Big surprise, whatever. In the meantime, Algorithm's going to take care of his son. I don't remember the son's name off the top of my head. He's going to take care of the son, kind of win him over, be nice to him, stuff like that. LeBron goes. Now we're all animated from here on out. At this point, to the end, I think the movie's good. It's got fun moments. I think it flows really well, and it was a good time. It was not that first act. Oh. So I was actually enjoying it from this point on. We learned that Bugs is by himself on Toonland, and all the other, Looney Tunes have gone to other franchises for WB and have kind of wreaking havoc, living their lives out there. This was honestly a real fun part of them getting everybody back together. Bron wants to get this super team of he wants Superman, he wants Iron Giant, he wants all these other people on his basketball team. But Bugs is like, no, we got to get the Looney Tunes back together. So they go and save them. They got Daffy Duck being Superman with Porky Pig being his reporter. We got Lola Bunny being a comic book version of Wonder Woman. We had, I think, Yosemite Sam was in Casablanca or something like that. Wile E. Coyote was in Mad Max, which is pretty funny. There's a lot of different funny cameos and seeing these animated cartoons, obviously in live action or just different forms of media that we don't expect them to see them in. I think personally my favorite one that I just kind of laughed the hardest at was Foghorn Leghorn being in Game of Thrones, being Daenerys, riding the dragon, causing chaos there. I thought that was fun. So we get the little montage with them. And then we get to the basketball game. leading up to the basketball game, obviously we need, the goon squad, as we'll call them in this one, the opposing team. Watching the trailers, I had no, connection or, intrigue with the goon squad. They showed, some of them, kind of hybrid characters of human and animals. I didn't really understand watching the trailers what was going on, but the way they built on it in the movie makes sense. So, like I said, the Sun was developing a video game. Algorithm takes great interest in that, and they decide to modify and boost the stats and kind of cheat the system for this game coming up with LeBron, which is high stakes. I don't think I mentioned that. If LeBron wins, obviously they can all leave. If they don't, then LeBron's stuck, and they're going to use the social media presence. I don't know, whatever it was. We'll learn higher stakes down the road where everybody's going to be stuck in the computer if they lose. But so, anyways, he's using the Suns program and the game to cheat the system in this game. So it's not going to be a traditional basketball game. It's going to be the Suns video game type basketball game. So the way they created the Goon Squad is apparently the Sun had used a camera of sorts to scan current basketball stars. There was two WNBA players, which I'm sorry, I don't know their names off the top of my head. But then there was also Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, and I feel like, Klay Thompson were in it. So we kind of get that fun little thing from the original Space Jam of actual players were instead of stealing their talent, we're using them here to kind of use their facial scan, body scan, whatever you want to call it, and then modify them there to give them these different characteristics. One of the ladies was a part snake, one was a spider. I think Anthony Davis was a bird man. Damian Lillard turns out to be a clock time traveler, and then Klay was a fire water dude. So we use them for the Goon Squad. So okay, fine. So we're getting to the game. Big audience. They want their all the I was about to say WWE. No, WB properties kind of show up. All the animated, live action, whatever. I think this was one of my favorite parts too. Obviously, we had seen it in the trailers too. Personally, I think my favorite was seeing all the different Hanna-Barbera cartoons in the audience. We saw the Flintstones, we saw Yogi and Boo Boo, but then we saw some really obscure ones, the Wacky Races guys were there. I can't remember. It was kind of not He-Man, but there was a group of people. They had these blobs with dark eyes that were part of the team. This monkey rock man. I'm butchering it. Hopefully some people understand what I'm talking about. So they were there. The Thundercats were there, which is awesome. Who else was there? The mystery Scooby-Doo was there. Just seeing those guys in the background. And obviously we had other people from the trailer we had already seen. Pennywise was there, which is weird for a kid's movie. We saw all the different Batman characters, Batman, Robin, Catwoman, Penguin, Joker. I think Harley was there. Mad Max people were there. We had Wizard of Oz people were there. A whole bunch of different, you could probably stare at that photo and be and list a whole bunch of properties that were there. That was cool. Just a little fan service. Fun. So we get them. And then the other half of the audience is people scanned in through their technology and phones into the computer. So now they're trapped. And they make up the other half of the audience, including LeBron's family. Okay. Cool. Whatever. And we get to the actual game. Now this is where it's a little weird of it's father versus son. The son is being motivated to play against his dad by algorithm to essentially earn respect and, Dad, I can do it too, blah, blah, blah. So that's a little weird that it's father versus son. I gotta beat my son in order to save the world. Which I get it because the son's being manipulated, but that could have been a little weird to look at or kind of think about. And they play. Not a traditional basketball game. They play with the video game rules. There's different power-ups. There's style points. So every basket isn't 2 or 3 points. It's 20, 30, however many. First half of the game, Toon Squad gets crushed by 1,000 points to I think they made it into the 70s. So it's not going well for the team. We get to halftime. pep squad or pep talk. No Michael Jordan's secret stuff. But we do get a fun Michael Jordan cameo, but not the Michael Jordan that we're expecting. They made the fun joke. Michael B. Jordan was in the crowd, so they brought him in and like, oh, I found Michael Jordan. And they're like, no, that's not Michael Jordan. That's the other Michael Jordan. And made a little fun joke there. Ha ha, he he, whatever. Now, speaking of Michael Jordan references, Space Jam, OG Space Jam, is referenced numerous times of like breaking the fourth wall of like, oh yeah, I remember doing this, but I'm not sure if it actually ever did happen or if it's just they're acknowledging that Warner Brothers had made movies like this. We saw the title of Space Jam fall with a bunch of other movie screens and whatever earlier in the film, so maybe it's just a reference of like, we made that as a movie, not this was an event. And we'll get another fun cameo, which I personally love. The Monstars are in there. The little aliens are in the crowd going, yeah, at one point. So I did really enjoy that kind of shout out and call out, thank God. But yeah, other than that, just the Michael Jordan joke, no Bill Murray, nothing like that. So yeah, they do the little pep talk. They decide, hey, if we're going to go out, we're going to be loony because they were just playing it all legit before, because LeBron's still a hard ass of, oh, we're going to play basketball the way basketball's meant to be played. So they get goofy with it. They start having fun, go from there, and they end up winning. Shocker, shocker, surprise. The Sun turns over to their team in the final quarter also, which kind of helps. So you get that kind of bonding moment with the father and son. Healing, good job. In the end, to make it dramatic, Algorithm will play in the final period, and he supercharges himself, attempts to cheat because he controls the system. Bugs will sacrifice himself by glitching himself, by doing a special move that LeBron taught his kids. IRL, that just doesn't work and breaks the game for whatever reason. So we get a little sad moment. Oh no, Bugs dead. But yeah, they end up winning because of this. Yay, Bugs Bunny. Yay, LeBron. Good job. End of the movie. All good. We all healed. We accept that his son wants to do something different. Support him. Great. And then we get Bugs in the real world asking LeBron if he can crash with him. And apparently the rest of the tunes are there too. I don't know if this is going to lead into a sequel. I really hope it doesn't. I'm fine with just leaving this as is. Like I said, the second and third act I thought were fine. That first act, I don't know what was going on, but just did not feel good watching it. Yeah, overall fine. One and done for me. I don't think this is one I'll go back to and like Space Jam, watch again and enjoy. Maybe just to do the little Where's Waldo of all the properties and be like, oh, there's that person. Oh, there's that person. But yeah, it is what it is. If you watched it, I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, if, people really liked it, great. I'm not going to sit here and, berate them for liking what they like. No, I don't care. If you got something out of it, good for you. If not, an hour and a half, 2 hours of your time down the drain. But, it happens. I don't know. So yeah, there's my thoughts on Space Jam, New Legacy. Like I said, if you liked it, you liked it. If not, so sorry. Hopefully we can get something down the road that's better. So moving on to topic 2, a lot of wrestling happened this weekend. Like I said, I pushed recording because I didn't know what to talk about. So there were a lot of wrestling events that went on this weekend. We had Impact's Slammiversary that happened Saturday night, and we had WWE's Money in the Bank happen Sunday night. So I'm going to start with Impact and Slammiversary that happened Saturday. It was a fun show. It was a fun show. I'm just going to kind of give my thoughts on all the matches that happened, my thoughts on the event overall, who showed up, who was a big surprise, stuff like that. So a little context. I haven't watched Impact in quite some time. I think I watched it when Kenny first showed up, Kenny Omega from AEW, because they had that little tease. I know it's on Twitch. It's a little difficult to kind of fit that in the schedule, but I'll keep up to date on social media. So I wanted to watch Slammiversary because last year's Slammiversary, a lot of the WWE releases made their Impact debuts and were signed. So it was like, oh, maybe that will happen again this year. Maybe some people will get signed. We'll see some new faces, get some fun surprises, things like that. So that was my intrigue going into the event. But watching it, obviously, the matches and the wrestlers did a great job. So it was a fun watch overall. So we started with the Ultimate X match. It was Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Petey Williams, Rohit, Roju, Chris Bay, and Josh Alexander going for the X Division title in the Ultimate X match. To kick off the show, obviously this is smart. The crowd was really into it, and they were cheering everybody, faces and heels alike. Good energy. Little awkward just because of how small the venue was. It's very apparent when like energy died down. It was like you could hear a pin drop at points. It was very much ebb and flow, like ups and downs. So like when people were going, yeah, you could feel it, but those down points, kind of hard. But like I said, it's a small indoor arena, so like it's going to happen. It's not like a WWE, AEW where it's a more bigger stadium where there's so many people. Like there's not really going to be a point where everybody's quiet unless like obviously something went wrong. So just a nature of the beast with what they're working in. Action was great. I think production-wise, they got to work on their camera angles a little bit. They missed two spots that I knew of. They missed Trey Miguel's dive outside, and they missed Ace Austin's moonsault off the scaffold. The replay did show it, but the original camera angle, they completely missed it, which kind of sucked. We got some big pops for the Canadian Destroyer by PD. We had a super Canadian Destroyer off the cords onto Chris Bay, which, geez, that looked nasty. But the match was good. Like I said, it was a good starter. We had some good comedy moments. We had some good action moments. Josh Alexander did end up retaining his X Division title after, I think he was fighting Chris Bay up at top. They were both hanging on the strap. Ace Austin attempted to jump and just grab belt. They kind of pulled it from him, and then Bay got knocked down with Alexander holding on and retaining his title. After this, we're going to get our first mystery opponent for this match. It's going to be Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood against Matt Cardona with a mystery opponent. This one was kind of obvious of who it was going to be in their little replay before it, setting up the story. We got the tease of Slammiversary is going to be a hot mess. Shocker surprise, it is Chelsea Green that is Cardona's partner. They did do a fun little reveal with it, with Matt Cardona coming out first, kind of walking, facing sideways, showing off his ring gear with the brighter colors, and then we get the Chelsea Green video. He will turn, and it will be him and Chelsea both wearing half and half, a cleaner outfit, and then a more rugged, hot mess look. Fine match, nothing really exciting to talk about. We had a cup spot because they did a low blow leading up to this story. We had a destroyer from Green onto Myers, low blow onto Neil, and then the Unprettier by Chelsea for the win. Cardona and Chelsea Green will win this one. Like I said, nothing super special, but fun. I know she's doing some Ring of Honor stuff, so obviously she's going to be pulling double duty there. Whatever. As long as she can fill her obligations, whatever. Third match was W. Morrissey, a.k.a. Big Cass, or formerly known as Big Cass, against Eddie Edwards. Another fine one. I thought both the guys did really well. Hit each other hard. Hard fought battle. Morrissey will win this one after cheating and using a chain from his boot. So I assume there's going to be a follow-up there. Morrissey's still undefeated in Impact, so we'll have to see what the build is for that rematch or whatever it is for Morrissey to eventually take the fall. Next, we get a big surprise, at least in my opinion. We get a little teaser for a new superstar. We get a painting, a canvas of someone writing "Long Live the King," just in like calligraphy. We see that, but then after they finish King, in big print, they write drama. So, Aiden English, or whatever his ring name is now, is going to be going to Impact. Finally, this is like a year after he's gotten that release. Finally going to a major company. I know he's been doing some indie shows, but happy for him. Hope he has, success there. But he'll be showing up. No dates, no next week, anything like that. But the Drama King is on his way to Impact. Next, we get a bonus Jonas match. We had Fulton and Shira take the ring. Both kind of very angry that they were barred from ringside during the Ultimate X match, not help their guys. Scott D'Amore comes out, and we get the return of Finn Juice. So Juice Robinson and David Finlay come out, squash match. There you go. Not sure what the point of this was. Crowd seemed pretty hyped that Finn Juice was there. I didn't get anything out of it personally. That's okay. But it was there. So quick little bonus match. Maybe not even 5 minutes with like everything, intros, everything like that. I don't know. Next match we have was Moose versus Chris Sabin. This was another physical match. A lot of hard strikes, a lot of big slams. Sabin's going to take the win in this one. I think this match was really entertaining, at least to watch, like really compelling, just seeing the size difference and how they played with that. I think both guys did a great job and told a good story. Whew, yeah, they were hitting each other hard. That was a good one. We get the pre-show, / the countdown show recap, and we'll see Decay becoming the new women's champions, and they're going to do a little promo on the division, so we get that. Next, we get our next surprise in the Fatal 4-Way Tag. It's Vicious by Design versus Mac and Swan versus the Good Brothers versus Falaba and a mystery partner. Because TJP is hurt or something happened. Partner for Falaba turns out to be No Way Jose, or as they're just calling him now, No Way, because I hopefully clear that out or they'll probably get in trouble. Turns out to be No Way Jose with the conga line. Same exact gimmick in WWE, but people seemed really excited. He seemed to be having a blast, so good for him. Once again, hope nothing for the best for him. Fatal 4-Way is traditional, so no super chaotic stuff. The Good Brothers will walk away with the win after the Magic Killer on a Rhino after a little bit of confusion and some scuffle outside. Interesting move to put it back on the Good Brothers. I wonder if that's going to lead up to something eventually with the Elite, just because all of them now have gold. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that turns out. And we'll have to see what comes up for No Way down the road, whether he's going to continue to team with Fala or if TJP returns, go from there. All right, match number 7 is going to be Deonna Purrazzo defending her women's title against a mystery opponent. This might have been the biggest pop surprise of the night. I think for me personally, it was the biggest surprise, like, oh shit moment. The crowd was loud. There's a surprise later at the end of the show where people were pretty stoked about, but I think this one might have gotten the biggest crowd reaction. Deonna comes out, all great, crown, queen, doing her thing. She's been dominant. They were smart with how they did this surprise because everybody was expecting, something big. They stayed silent for a while after they cut her music. Stayed silent. The commentators are going like, oh, I don't know. There's been a lot of releases. Who's going to be? A lot of chatter. Who's going to be strong enough to fight Deonna? And we get Thunder Rosa coming out. Holy shit, that place exploded. Really cool to see her there. I know, some people wanted somebody new who obviously was in WWE that hasn't been around, but like this was big. Obviously, she's been on fire this past year in the pandemic and even before. Really cool to see her there, and her and Deonna had a solid match. Very fun to watch. A little fun sidebar note, obviously Thunder Rosa's got a little drama going on with Dave LaGreca. We did get some Dave LaGreca chants in there. I just thought that was funny. But yeah, match was really good between the two ladies. Really good there. Deonna is going to retain with the Queen's Gambit move. After the match, she's going to grab the mic, pump herself up, and she gets interrupted by Mickie James making her return. And, Mickie, all happy, all smiles, is actually going to invite Deonna to NWA Empower, which I believe is the all-women's event that they're going to be having soonish. Deonna kind of says no, makes a little trash bag joke, and Mickey's going to slap her. So, interesting there. Like I said, the ladies had a great match. It's interesting because it's a delicate balance with like bringing people back. You want to show obviously excitement for the new people, but like I don't know, you want to respect your current people too. With Deonna going over, that was great. That was great. She went over, elevate her status. But then the immediate like overshadowing with Mickey coming back and the slap and everything kind of took away from her win and kind of, at least from my perspective and point of view, kind of lowered her down. So it's a rough call there, but anyways, we get some fun returns and surprises there. We'll get a Bound for Glory ad afterwards with the AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling logos involved. So seems like Bound for Glory is going to be a crossover pay-per-view. Cool. Happening down the road in Vegas. A lot of things happening in Vegas, it seems. Then we're going to get to our main event. It's Kenny Omega defending the Impact World Championship against Sami Callihan in a no disqualification match. Another really good match. Probably match of the night. Surprise, surprise. A lot of fun there. Callihan almost got an immediate 3 count on Omega after delivering one of his signatures. Callis will join commentary, obviously, do his thing of blathering. Stole Matt Striker's chair, so now Striker's got to stand. And we get right into the action with, like, obscure objects. We had a fork make an appearance, which gets stuck into the turnbuckle, and we had a pizza cutter. Pizza cutter will proceed to cut up Kenny Omega pretty good, and Kenny's busted, and oof, a lot of blood there. We'll get the return of the cookie sheets and some other weapons that we haven't seen, at least in my viewing, in a while. We get some brutal shots with those cookie sheets, and oh my god, I don't know how this didn't affect Sami worse than it did, but a wet floor sign straight to the head. The sound of that just was nasty. Sami gets busted out open after running into a chair in the corner. He seemed to bleed way more than Kenny did. Then again, Kenny did use the fork, came back into play, digging it into Sami's head and mouth. So maybe they're playing into that. But Kenny seemed to kind of dry up quick and clean up quick. So there was that. Match went back and forth the whole time. Both guys were hitting their moves, hitting some strong stuff, hitting some, obviously, extreme stuff with the no DQ. We had a pile driver through the table. Thank God that table didn't break. They were both standing on that thing for so long. That could have been, that could have been rough and a botch. Let's see. So we had that pile driver through a table. We had a side slam through a standing trash can on the ground, and a power bomb through like not a 2x4, but like a big sheet of wood. A 2 count. It was rough. These guys were going all out. A couple sidebars. We, as the audience, we could hear Josh Matthews in the back. I'm not sure if it was a headset issue with Callis or whatever it is, but you could hear him subtly through the TV, like, saying they were going to do 2 replays and say this, say that. So that kind of took away from it a little bit. If you focused on it, I guess, you could tune it out otherwise, but I picked up on it. That was kind of weird. I don't know what happened there. And then also, we had these big moves on the trash can and the board kind of back-to-back onto Omega. It was a close 2 count. Omega kicks out, and we get a funny moment. For some reason, this fan was really into Omega and, like, backing him. And he just screams that it's going to take a lot more to take out a wrestling god. The whole crowd just turns on this guy so fast and just screams at him, this guy sucks. It was just a real, like, awkward moment that this guy was so compelled to just go from there and, like, obviously voice his opinion. You know, he can do whatever he wants, but, like, woof. Just really, really off. So, yeah, we'll get a bunch of more hardcore moments. Let's see. I wrote out a bunch just because I was writing out notes as the event was going on. We had a tombstone on a barbed wire chair. We had powder to the eyes. We had a referee get knocked out. Pile driver on the belt. More referees getting knocked out. Good Brothers come out. Edwards and Sabin will interfere to take them out of the match. Callis is going to interfere at a point. Tax are going to get intervened. And to kind of throw or head into the finale of this match with Tax getting involved, Callis is going to interfere, affecting Sammy. Sammy's going to turn around and Kenny's going to literally throw Tax into his face to stop him. Sets up a V-trigger, goes from there. Decides to take his knee and dig into the thumbtacks to get a little bit more impact. Does another V-trigger with those. Decides, no, that's not enough. Takes some thumbtacks, puts them in Sammy's mouth, hits him with another V-trigger, and then hits him finally with the one-winged angel on the tax, 3 count, and Kenny will retain his Impact title against Sami Callihan. So the guys did really, really well. Very fun match to watch with all the action, with the no DQ stuff, with the back and forth. Fantastic for both of those guys. It's going to be interesting to see when this crescendo of the story or the downhill starts of, like, Omega not being this belt collector. Like, who's going to be the driving force to kind of chip away? Who's going to take Impact away from him? The TNA is a weird one because that was technically a bonus win. Like, getting those 2 belts off of him, getting AAA off of him, and then I assume the AEW off of him, like everything and anything. Current status, I guess Andrade technically has the best shot for the AAA, or at least that's what's lined up for it. Hangman seems to be in line for AEW's, but now, like, who's next Impact-wise to face Kenny? Like, we did Rich, we did now Sammy. Is it going to be Eddie Edwards going after it? Tough to say. And, you know, this could be just my limited watching of Impact, of, like, knowing who's where in the scales of things. It's going to be interesting. And that's even if it's, like, around the corner. Like, who's to say when this will kind of blow over. But that's if it's even going to blow over, because we'll get one more final surprise after this match. The lights are going to go out, and on the back, we're going to get Bullet Club logo, music, and we get Switchblade Jay White making an appearance in the Impact Zone, showing up and coming out for a stare down. Now, as he's coming out, he does have his Never, the brand, Openweight Championship on his shoulder. As he's making his entrance, I was like, oh fuck. Is this going to be another belt for the collection? We'll have to wait and see. All they do is stare each other down as Switchblade gets in the ring. Now this, after all this good stuff, this was the most frustrating. I don't know if it was in something on Impact's end. I don't know if it was something on Fight TV's end. Rough to say. I'm going to say Impact just because of a certain thing. They're doing the stare down, and we can see from the ramp after a little while, a gentleman comes running down to interfere, attack, whatever. We see that out of the corner of our eye, and the screen is going to fade to the red and the Impact logo and eventually go off the air. While this is happening, we can hear the commentators freaking out because whoever this individual is running down, but their audio is also fading and getting cut out. Goes off air. Cliffhanger. No coming back after that. No, like, oh shit, we didn't mean to cut. Just completely goes off. What the fuck? Turns out, thanks to Twitter and some people there, It was David Finlay. I guess Finlay's got a match against Jay White for that Never Openweight Championship at some point soon. He attacked Jay White. Jay White hit his finisher on him. Continued stare down with Omega and Good Brothers and Callis. That was it. Nothing else came of it. So yeah, this is a big question mark. Is this going to be setting up for a Bullet Club versus Elite thing? Is this going to be setting up for a Jay White versus Omega for another title belt to collect? Hard to say. Really big surprise. Really cool to see. It just leaves a sour taste in your mouth with that fade to black when things were still happening. I don't know if it was on purpose to kind of have people like, wait, whoa, what happened? And like go and look and research and like give them those views or whatever it is. But like, that also is not a good way to leave your audience. It's just cutting the feed, I would think. Like, oof, interesting move. I don't know if it was the best one. We got obviously the big one, but interesting call to kind of cut it there. But yeah, that was Slammiversary. I'm really glad I watched it. It was a fun time. I enjoyed seeing these people I haven't normally see wrestle and kind of learn more about them. It's going to be interesting to see if down the next couple of weeks, months, whatever, if more people do show up, when they do show up, if they show up in Impact, if they show in AEW, wherever it is. Because obviously WWE's been releasing people left and right. Not that they have to, sign everybody, but it's going to be exciting to see where people end up. And like I said, I'm happy for No Way showing up. I'm happy for Drama King showing up eventually, especially after his long time out of a major company. Thunder Rosa's surprise was fantastic. Mickey's obviously great, even though it might take a little bit away from Deanna afterward in her moment, but cool to see, along with Jay White at the end, just making that crossover appearance, the Forbidden Door, whatever you want to call it. Cool to see. We'll have to see where that goes from here. But like I said, glad to have watched the pay-per-view. Hopefully, if you guys watch it too, you really got a kick out of it. And yeah, we'll have to see where things go from here with all these storylines and all these characters. Hopefully good stuff. But yeah, last but not least, going to move on to topic 3. Going to talk about WWE's Money in the Bank 2021, which, as I have recording, aired last night. If you watched the pre-show, it was a whopping 5 hours in total. Holy shit, is this WrestleMania? No, because that'd be 16 hours. Oh my god. 5 hours. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I watch stuff late. I can't watch it live. The only things I do watch live, WrestleMania, NXT every Tuesday. That's the only things I watch live. I do not have the ability to catch the other shows live because of either other podcast recordings or just personal life stuff. So I watch everything late. So I'm watching, 11, 12 at night pay-per-views on the network or whatever. Peacock is starting to be a pain in the ass. And by starting to be, I mean, this is the first time I'm being affected by it, but I've seen other people complaining about it. If a pay-per-view has started, I don't know what the threshold is. If a pay-per-view has started, you cannot go back and start over the pay-per-view at your leisure. You need to wait until the event is completely done, then you can start it over. So by the time I was finally free, they were in the main event. There were still about 30-ish minutes still left to go. So because of this jumbled schedule with me recording late, fuck. I had to wait an extra 30 minutes to then start the pay-per-view. Now, me looking at it, I'm like, oh, fuck, 5 hours. This means I'm going to wrap up at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. Crap. Not that I don't stay up that late normally, but man, does that really suck. If I did want to record at night, but I didn't. Turns out the actual pay-per-view itself was only about 3 and some change. Okay, I can do that. So anyways, just a little gripe with Peacock. What the fuck? Let us start when we want to start. I get the whole, oh, it's a live event, blah, 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 blah. Shut up. So anyways, I start watching it at midnight, and we go through the whole event. Overall pay-per-view, good. Some fine matches. I don't know if it's just the amount of times we see certain people wrestle the same person so many times, it's like, I don't know, or whatever it is, but like nothing super excited me, compelled me. There was a couple matches I was like, oh, that was a fun time, and like had good spots, but nothing was like, I need to sit down, not do anything else, and watch this match. I was kind of like 50-50. I was like watching, playing something, watching, working on something, which seems to be how I absorb at least the main roster's pay-per-views, unless it's a Mania, unless it's a Rumble, and then NXT is like, you got my attention. So, kicking off, we had the ladies kicking off. The ladies' Money in the Bank started the match. We had Asuka, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, Alexa Bliss, Nikki ASH, Tamina, Natalya, and Naomi participating in this match. Alexa got a lot of attention after her entrance. It seemed like after every woman had entered the ring, we went right back to staring at her and her mystical presence. I don't know. The ladies did good. I don't know if as an opener this was a smart choice. Not that the ladies can't deliver, not that they can't put on a good show. Some things were not as polished as maybe they could be. And it was only a few spots here and there, move-wise, kind of detracted from it. A lot of these ladies definitely have some popularity behind them. Naomi got a lot of cheers. Same with Bliss, same with Asuka. A lot of people were behind Liv Morgan, hoping she would win. But there was also some duds, for lack of a better term, on fan reaction for this match. Our tag champs. Nikki was like 50-50. Zelina kind of got a good pop, but didn't really get a good reaction the rest of the match. So it is a questionable start. Not like I said, not that they can't do it, but just like I don't know if these ladies have been given enough of a spotlight building up to this. Like we've talked about this numerous times, where they put faith in certain superstars. Like obviously Charlotte, Bayley, Becky, Sasha, 4 horsewomen, right? Bam. Like can't touch them. They're up here. Do no wrong. Ha. The rest of the ladies are kind of like in this weird limbo area of like they can get some momentum behind them and then it kind of like get chopped at the knees and like nothing's going for them. So I think that's unfortunately what happened in this situation where like nobody's got that super momentum behind them. Like the crowd's confused because you build, you stop, you build, you stop. So it's like, should I cheer for this person? Should I even get behind this person? Yeah, weird. Whole nother discussion there. But anyways, ladies did a good job here. We did a little hocus pocus Alexa Bliss thing, which I'm kind of behind, or not behind, kind of like against now. I don't know with Zelina, but that was the only spot I didn't like. Nikki ASH is going to end up taking it from, she literally steals it while the six other participants are fighting on top of the ladder. She's literally going to climb over top of them, just go whoop, and pull it for herself. So good for her. That was a big surprise of her winning. I was wondering what the payoff was going to be, but because we're recording on a Monday Night Raw has happened, we see the payoff. Nikki has cashed in, and she is now Raw Women's Champion. So good for her. She took advantage of Charlotte being down. Haha, victory. Hopefully, they can do something with Nikki. And this is not just a placeholder. This is not just a waste of time. I really hope they can do something for Nikki. Superhero, or almost superhero. But good for her. Happy for her. Good for her. Just said that twice, but really happy for her. Hope she does good things. Next, we're going to move up on to the Raw Tag Team titles. We got the War Raiders versus AJ Styles and Omos. Sadly, this is another thing of like the crowd was really good. And what I mean by that is like they were loud with the reactions. They're excited to be back. But unlike Impact, where they were like cheering everybody on, like, yes, we're back at wrestling. We're so excited. This is awesome. I just want to show all my love and support for you guys. It was kind of not the same here. AJ got a huge pop, huge crowd reaction, as he should, right? The War Raiders, the faces here, got nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean by WWE standards, nothing. Like, you get the general, overtones of crowd noise, but, like, no excitement, no fanfare, no, like, hype, and, like, let's go for these guys. And it just sucks to see. Not because the War Raiders are bad, and I know they're called the Viking Experience now, but I'm going to keep calling them the War Raiders. They got nothing. And like I said, it sucks because seeing them in the limited capacity I do know them in their NXT livelihood, they were fucking great. Like, people loved them. And granted, I know Hanson, or Eric, whatever his name is now, I know he's coming back from injury recently. But, like, man, this is another team of, like, momentum, no momentum, momentum, no momentum. Like, you gotta do something so the crowd feels compelled and engaged or involved or wanting to cheer on these people. So, ends up the AJ and Omos will retain. Omos did get a lower reaction because he was doing well. Glad to see he's doing, well, and it seems like Styles being next to him is helping. So, cool there. Hopefully the War Raiders can get some momentum behind them as of fanfare cheering perspective. Before we move on to match 3, another thing they were doing throughout the entire night, because this was our first pay-per-view with fans back in minus Mania, is they were kind of, to the audience watching at home, or at least, like, seems like a lot of people are coming back into wrestling because people did not want to watch when there were no fans. They did do a good thing of, like, recapping individuals, being like, so-and-so is really important because they had this moment in their career, and they would show, like, title wins or big Mania moments or, like, stuff that boosted them. I thought this was a good move. Cutting back to the War Raiders real quick, we did this. Their only highlight that they decided to show was the interesting tag team competition they had going on with the Street Profits. Interesting choice, but nonetheless, that's the only thing they've done on main roster. So I guess what was your choice? Because we can't acknowledge NXT. Anyways, smart move to show highlights. That one in particular highlight, not great. Match 3 is going to be the WWE Championship match. We're going to get Bobby Lashley defending against Kofi Kingston. And it's a squash match. Why? Why can't we just have a good, solid match between these two guys? I know Bobby's the dominator. He's got to be a good champion, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck? Kofi is a former champion. Kofi's a former IC, US, tag team. Like, the guy's been around for ages. Throw him a bone. At least have a nice, competitive match. You can still have Bobby be dominating. You can still have him do these powerful fucking moves. You can still have him do the 3 dominators at the end. That's fine. Let Kofi do something. Give us a competitive match. But no, we just had to do a squash. It still went for a couple minutes. But yeah, it was just essentially Bobby throwing around Kofi, slamming him around. For what reason? Because guess what? Monday Night Raw, Goldberg's going to come out and be like, well, I'm next. Granted, we did get a very nice Keith Lee return. Cool moment. Good for him. Let's do something fucking with him. But just for Goldberg to come out and be like, bleh, I'm Goldberg. Fuck it. Dumb match. Raw Women's title is next. We're going to have Charlotte going against Rhea Ripley defending her title. The ladies, this was a good match. This was a good match by the ladies. I thought it was strong. I thought both ladies got their spots in. I thought both ladies looked good with what they were doing, and, like, you could get behind them. Some We Want Becky chants, not gonna lie, during the match. So there's that. But they both did great. Becky on the brain. Charlotte is gonna win the title again. After using the stairs to hurt Rhea's foot/knee, she's going to end it with a figure 8. So story-wise, that does make sense. heard the area, target the area. We're there. Was this setting up for a return from Becky? No, nothing happened. And as we talked about earlier, Nikki's going to take the title off of her. Hopefully something comes out of that and Nikki can do well. But yeah, Charlotte wins. I'm fine with it. I get it. Same shit, different day. But, like, she's one of those 4, like I said, that, like, are the pinnacle. Not an AEW reference. The top. So, like, delivers a good match. I get it. Why do you want her on top? It's just, like, once again, the same shit, different day thing. Like, we want something new. So, that's the only negative on it. But, obviously, she doesn't have the title anymore. So, we'll have to see how that plays out. Move on to the men's Money in the Bank. This was my match of the night. Maybe, except for main event. Match of the night right here. Good, solid Money in the Bank. A lot of people getting their shit in. Not a big surprise. Money in the Bank usually delivers. But it's going to be John Morrison versus Ricochet versus Riddle versus Shinsuke versus Kevin Owens, Big E, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. A lot of people thinking Drew's going to win. Because WWE just wants to do the same thing. A lot of people thought Big E was going to win. Because this man's getting his push. He's doing solo stuff. Some people even thought Riddle was going to win, which would have been interesting and could have set up an interesting storyline for Randy Orton. Anyways, match was great. Morrison was being fucking Morrison. Was he still being the dumbass, being the drip, whatever, style man? Yes. But he was getting his shit in, and he was doing what John Morrison should do. Thank you for that. Seth was good. We had some compelling moments with him. We had Shinsuke being the king, having an awesome entrance with Rick Buggs. We had Riddle being good, had some funny moments with him and good competition. We had Owens being the fucking dummy, demolition dummy, test dummy, getting crashed everywhere. Drew had some good spots. Ricochet finally recapturing the crowd. He got no reaction in his entrance, which sucked and hurt so bad. But thank God this man can pull attention to him. Camera focus, because I need you to see my face. Hopefully this man can win the crowd back over, because not on any fault of his own, he hasn't done shit for the longest time. So hopefully he can win them back over. He did with some high spots in this match. We had him walking the ropes. We had him doing sweet-ass dives. We're back on the upswing with Mr. Ricochet. Good for him. Big E looking strong. We had a good, strong moment with him and Drew facing off. That boosts, Drew's status because people love him, and it boosts Big E because Drew's a former champion. Let's have Big E in there with him. Build him up. Great. Smart moves there. So anyways, good moves there. We get continuation of the Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal story as they will interfere with his lackeys. I don't know their name. And they'll take Drew away from the match. Owens being powerbombed through the ladder by Seth Rollins, like I said, being the crash test dummy that he is. The finish was great. Like I said, we had that big high spot from Ricochet. Big E and Rollins are going to end up on the ladder. It looks like Rollins is going to win, which everybody would have hated. Big E's going to go up there, grab him for the big ending. Big ending off the ladder, goes up and claim Money in the Bank for himself. So awesome to see Big E with that briefcase. Hopefully we can do something nice with that, with the Monday Night Raw occurrences happening tonight, of Goldberg showing up. Some people are starting to speculate now because obviously Big E has not hid his feelings about Goldberg. Maybe that could lead to something. I don't know. Roman will be going against somebody we'll talk about later, it seems, for SummerSlam. So it's questionable. Like, does Big E go the route of Goldberg, or does Big E go the route of Roman Reigns? I think either one would be good. I think one's more likely that he'll win than the other, and one would be more entertaining, even though that one might not be his victory. But Happy's got the opportunity. Happy we're still pushing him. And then, speaking of, we got the main event. We get the Universal Championship. It's going to be Edge versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is defending his Universal title. The crowd was really into this match. Like, whoa. Like, So much energy with both of them standing in the ring. Seemed 50-50. A lot of people rooting for Edge. A lot of people rooting for Roman Reigns. This was the energy we fucking needed the entire night for everybody. Not that they could do that. Obviously, I get that. It's a 3-hour show. You're not going to fucking be able to maintain that. But this was awesome. If you get the chance, if you didn't watch it, go watch this match. Energy alone. Fantastic. Good match by these guys. Fantastic throughout. Not a big surprise there. These guys deliver on numerous occasions. Some key moments to take away from it. The referee was taken out at some point, Charles Robinson. The Usos attempted to interfere, but the Mysterios will interfere on Edge's behalf, take them out, make them out, or get them out of the match. We get one more interference, unfortunately, by Seth Rollins. He cut a promo earlier saying whoever's the winner of this match, I'm next. I don't care. Decides to kick Edge because he's unhappy that Edge just kind of skipped the line and gets the title match. Ron's going to interfere, kicks Edge. Seems like that was all he needed to do. Blah, blah, blah. He'll come back for a second attack. We'll get a spear from Roman, and Roman will end up retaining his title. Whoop-de-frickin-do. No, I'm just kidding. Good. Solid match. It's interesting to see. I assume Edge and Seth are going to do something now because they will, at this point, continue to fight into the back. Roman's going to grab a mic. He's saying, now everybody can acknowledge me as your champion. And we're going to get the big return of John Cena. Which for the fucking 1 in a million chance, everybody in the crowd was fucking excited. It wasn't Cena sucks chance. It wasn't boos. Everybody was happy. And I'm not going to lie, I was happy too because it was just fun and exciting moment. Cena's back. People really happy. Throws his hat, does a whole gimmick thing. You can't see me. Crowd goes crazy. Fade to black. It's all we needed. As we'll learn on Monday Night Raw, Cena's going to go after the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. I assume this is just going to be another stepping stone for Roman, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with this storyline. I really like where it's going and how it's built Roman in a different light. Like, this makes me more interested in watching Roman compared to his old self. I'm totally fine with that. Like, who else were we going to use? Like, if the goal is The Rock, obviously, most likely that will be Mania time. We still got some time to kill, which, granted, we still got more time to kill, but SummerSlam, at least we can use Cena, and he can help Roman out that way, and we can go from there. So, yeah, Money in the Bank, overall was fine. Men's Money in the Bank and the main event were my two top matches. The rest were A-okay. Some good, some bad, some upsetting. Shocker, shocker, surprise. With SummerSlam coming up around the corner, it's hard to get super invested just because these storylines are so, like, quick. I think that might be something that helps AEW, at least in a way, with these longer, drawn-out storylines between pay-per-views. Even NXT, too. Like, takeovers are, few and far between, or whatever the phrase and saying is. It's tough to get, like, super invested. And granted, with how I watch and absorb wrestling, that could be on me, too. Like, maybe if I watch Raw week to week or SmackDown week to week like I do in NXT, maybe I would be more compelled and interested in the stories. Maybe. Unfortunately, I can't do that, at least at the live schedule. Maybe I could do it DVR, whatever the fuck. But it's hard to be super, super invested compared to just looking at a Twitter feed or whatever of like, oh, this is what's happened. Great. I still like watching the pay-per-views or at least having them on. I still like being, part of this world, part of the wrestling universe. But I think at this point with crowds back, we got to start building people again. Those key players that you do have, fantastic. You've done right to them. They are interesting characters and wrestlers and superstars. Now you got to build up like that middle to lower card area to make it like, not that they have to win everything, but like make us care about these people. So we can try and root them on for the underdog factor. And even if they don't win, we'll still love them. We'll still hope for more of them, more for them, Jesus Christ. But that's what I think what we need to work on, just so it's not rinse, repeat, recycle the same matches, blah, 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 each and every week. I don't need to see Sheamus and Humberto Carrillo fight for the U.S. title for 800 weeks straight. That's been a lot of this pandemic. Not that Humberto doesn't, do well in the ring. I'm glad he's getting TV time, but holy shit, how many times have those two gone for that U.S. title? Please give me something different. Whatever. This has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911. Appreciate you guys hanging out today. If you want to catch this podcast live, you're over to twitch.tv/Enigma911, where it's every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You join the chat. If you're a sub over there, we'd love to have you in on the conversation. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. It drops over on YouTube and SoundCloud, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. And I forgot to mention earlier, but hashtag ad merch store. You can get all of your swag over there, t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand, support us. It would be greatly appreciated. Appreciate you guys watching this episode or giving it a listen. I know it was another solo one. Hopefully we get some more guests on soon, get some more interesting conversations. If there's anybody you want to see on the podcast, especially leading up to episode 100, let me know. I can give a reach out. That's all we can do, Ask. If it happens, cool. If not, no big deal. We'll see who we can get on for you as we lead to 100 and hopefully many more past that. But I appreciate you guys once again. Give it a watch, give it a listen, give me your time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.